decide to make Joe the backup and not Shedeur?
Yeah, Joe's the backup.
Was there, along with changing to Dylan, was there any conversation at all about moving Shedeur up to number 2 and making him?
My focus is on this game. Joe's the backup.
Breaking news out of Cleveland. And no, this ain't some deleted Hard Knocks episode gone wrong. It's real, it's chaotic, and it's pure Browns drama. Kevin Stefanski just got fired. Yep, fired. All because Jimmy Haslam apparently wanted Shedeur Sanders on that field against the Lions like he was the next Marvel hero making his grand debut. Forget the playbook. Forget strategy. This was Haslam storming in, yelling, "Release Shedeur," like it was a scene from a superhero movie. Stefanski said no, and in return, boom, pink slip dropped faster than a DoorDash order during halftime. This whole thing is so messy, even the Browns' offensive line would be jealous. Cleveland didn't just lose a football game, they threw their dignity into the bargain bin. This wasn't a defeat, this was a public meltdown begging for a Netflix documentary.
Look like sources is confirming that Jimmy Haslam and Kevin Stefanski is not in a good place. Now here is the major issue, man. Joe Flacco is playing horrendous. He has turned the ball over multiple times in every damn game he's played in. He's slow moving in the pocket. He needs to retire. That is the moral of the story. Now, here is the other kicker. They drafted 2 rookie quarterbacks.
Complete with dramatic slow motion replays and a sad piano track playing underneath. Under the bright lights of Ford Field, the Browns didn't just collapse, they surrendered. 34-10. That's not a loss. That's a clearance sale on humiliation. It was like Detroit walked away with a win, their pride, and Cleveland's last shred of self-respect, all wrapped in a bow. And just when you thought Browns fans had already hit emotional rock bottom, they erupted. This wasn't your usual polite booing. This was fury from the soul, the kind that shakes stadium walls. It wasn't just frustration, it was betrayal echoing through every seat. "We want Shedeur," they screamed, louder than the Lions' fight song itself. Now, if you've ever been to a Browns game, you know these fans are a special breed. They'll paint their faces orange, freeze in sub-zero winds, and cheer for quarterbacks they secretly know can't throw a spiral to save their lives.
Hey, Kevin, just following up on yesterday. Are you sticking with Joe?
Yeah, I understand the question, Scott. We have to play better as an offense. We have to coach better on offense. It's not about one person. There are so many things that we need to do better, and obviously quarterback included, but this is not about one person.
Is that a yes then? I mean, are you sticking with him?
Yeah, my focus is on making sure this off.
They'll do it again and again, like it's a spiritual calling. But tonight, patience broke, snapped, like a cheap folding chair under a lineman's weight. The crowd turned from loyal to lethal, and every camera in the stadium knew exactly where to look. All eyes locked on one man, the face of the storm himself, Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders sat on that bench, helmet off, eyes cold, watching his team get humiliated like a kid punished during recess. That single image said everything. Forget the scoreboard, this was the real story. A young star who once lit up Colorado with over 4,000 yards and 37 touchdowns, now sitting on the sidelines.
Owner stepping in, Jimmy Haslam saying, "Enough of Fluco, I've seen enough. I want to see both the rookie quarterbacks play football this year for the Cleveland Browns." So Dylan Gabriel will get his shot because he's second on the depth chart. But I promise you, Jimmy Haslam will make sure that Shedeur gets some starts this year sooner than later. But if you look at it from Stefanski's point of view, I'm pretty sure he's on the way out after this decision because they had just pulled off the upset of the century. They had just beaten Micah's Packers with Fluco at quarterback. Okay, so then they go to Detroit and they get blown out. Well, there shouldn't be a lot of shame in that because Detroit's the hottest team.
While Cleveland chose washed-up experience over raw greatness. It wasn't strategy. It was sabotage in plain sight. And honestly, it wasn't just sad, it was straight-up tragic comedy, the kind that makes you laugh just to stop yourself from crying. But oh, it gets juicier, because the minute Deion Sanders opens his mouth, the local mess becomes an international scandal. Suddenly, Cleveland's drama wasn't just staying in the 2-1-6, it went viral worldwide. The Browns weren't just a punchline for Ohio talk shows anymore. They became the main event for every sports show on the planet. Analysts turned into comedians overnight. One second they're calling it coaching scared.
The Cleveland Browns currently have one win on their record, and they got another tough bout going up this week against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Jimmy Haslam is hella mad. He is furious with Kevin Stefanski for not benching Joe Flacco. Now, we know Kevin Stefanski has been saying, we're going to make the time when the time is right to, with the quarterback decision. As of right now, Joe is going to be the guy.
The next, they're dragging Stefanski for thinking losing by 4 touchdowns somehow proves a point. ESPN looked like open mic night at a comedy club. You had Rich Eisen practically begging for logic, and Stephen A. Smith pacing on set like he was ready to launch Stefanski straight into orbit. Meanwhile, high up in the press box, Jimmy Haslam was turning redder than a stoplight. Reports said he didn't even wait for the fourth quarter. Man stormed out furious, pacing the halls, barking for answers, and probably sending interns running like they just saw a ghost. The energy was nuclear. You could practically feel the explosion coming. Jimmy Haslam wanted one thing, and one thing only: Shedeur Sanders on that damn field. Instead, what did he get? A lifeless veteran statue standing in the pocket.
With these coaches and coaches like Kevin Stefanski, it's ego over execution, it's plays over players. At the end of the day, you got to give this kid a shot to redeem himself. That's the beauty of being a rookie. You're going to go out there, you're going to struggle, you're going to have some success, you're going to struggle again, but you want to see them come out on the other side. Now, Shedeur had 5 sacks, 5 drives, just was trying to press, trying to impress coaches, the fans, trying to live up to what Dylan Gabriel just put out there on the field. And Kevin Stefanski handled that situation and this whole quarterback competition.
While the scoreboard looked like some broken Madden simulation on rookie mode, Haslam marched straight up to the front office, slammed his fist metaphorically, maybe even literally, and hit them with the cold, brutal question: why draft Shedeur Sanders if you're just gonna let him rot on the bench? That was the moment Kevin Stefanski's coaching career in Cleveland turned to toast. Burnt, smoking toast. This wasn't a random outburst, this was months of bottled up fury finally spilling out. Haslam's been simmering all season, watching his overpriced roster stumble like it's their first day learning football. Quarterbacks missing reads, fumbling rhythm, playing like touchdowns are an optional feature. And meanwhile, Shedeur, the young gun with ice in his veins.
Now, they ain't coming out right saying that Andrew Berry wants to play Shedeur, but we seen him kind of cater to Shedeur a little more. Now, here's where we rocking the hard place. What's going to happen? Because if Kevin Stefanski do not listen to his boss, because he have bosses, that is Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam, bro, he's definitely getting fired. Ain't no ifs and buts about it. He's getting fired. So do not be surprised if we see a quarterback change this week. Now, I don't think he's going to outright say he's going to change quarterbacks, but I'm thinking it is going to be a quarterback change in this game going up against the Vikings.
Is just sitting there chewing gum, clapping for mediocrity. It's insanity. The math don't math. Let's rewind this mess. Shedeur's college resume was so clean it could erase Johnny Manziel's ghost from Cleveland's memory. 4,134 yards, 37 touchdowns, calm under chaos, cool like an iPhone battery before Apple starts throttling it. Then he hits the preseason, real NFL defenses, real pressure, and he thrives, posting a quarterback rating over 100 like it's light work. And what do the Browns do? They say, nah, let's pretend it's still 1998. So Stefanski trots out those tired post-game excuses like they're part of some tragic comedy routine.
Sanders is the Cleveland Browns QB1, dog. Y'all quite frankly pissing him off. And I'm finna show y'all why Shedeur's the starting quarterback, dog. They put Dylan Gabriel in the game after washed-up 40-year-old Joe Flacco got sent out of the game, dog. Look at that. That's trash. That's trash, dog. That's absolutely terrible. You get in the game and do that, Gabriel? Guess what? Your coach is kind of pissed off, too. Look at your coach, is like, damn, that didn't work either. Let me tell you something here, buddy. You better start Shedeur, or you're...
We're sticking to the plan, he says. Yeah, a plan that's drowning. It's not strategy anymore. It's straight up denial. The fans know it. The players feel it. And ownership, they're done paying champagne money for soda-level results. The trust is gone, and the clock's ticking louder than ever. This ain't new for Cleveland. It's their tragic tradition. 32 quarterbacks in just 2 decades, countless rebuilds that look more like demolition derbies, and a fan base so traumatized they flinch every time someone says, next season. It's been heartbreak on repeat. But this time, oh, this time, the solution isn't some fantasy draft pick or a maybe someday promise.
Joe played for you and just kind of kept coming back at it.
I thought he saw it well. I thought, I thought he saw it well. Got the ball to the correct people a lot of the time. Mary Kay gave guys opportunity to catch and run. But yeah, frustrated for him and for everybody.
Those deflected passes, did you think both of those should have been caught by your receivers?
Listen, if you ask those guys, they're going to say yes. Jerry and Zed are our 2 best receivers. We are counting on them. We will always be counting on them, and they will come through for this.
The answer is right there, sitting on the bench, staring at his helmet like it personally betrayed him. Shedeur Sanders isn't the future, he's the now. And that's exactly why Kevin Stefanski had to go. Not because he was the worst coach on earth, but because he broke the one sacred rule in today's NFL. He ignored the money. Jimmy Haslam didn't spend millions to watch a quarterback room that feels like a nursing home with shoulder pads. He spent it to unleash Shedeur Sanders. The fire, the flair, the storyline. Stefanski got the message loud and clear. No slow process, no graceful exit, just fired. Quick, clean, and brutal. And honestly, after that beatdown in Detroit, the bar for savior couldn't be any lower. But here's where the comedy kicks in and the Browns acting shocked, like they haven't been living in quarterback purgatory since the Clinton administration. Every normal franchise sees a young, talented quarterback and says, let's build around him. Meanwhile, Cleveland sees the same thing and goes, nah. Let's see if our 40-year-old vet can pull off one more miracle.
I love Dion. I love his son. His son should have been the first overall pick. Again, I'll say it. But I don't see how Shedeur's going to get any shot in Cleveland this year unless it's something like you experienced where everybody gets hurt. And I'm knocking on wood for everybody because I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I'm going to assume that Dion taped the new Hyde podcast at the end of last week. It was dropped on Monday, but it had to be taped ahead of Cleveland shocking the Green Bay Packers. So I assume he was talking about the 0-2 Browns. But Dion said, I have a prediction to make. I don't know if he had inside information with that prediction. He does know Jimmy Haslam, the owner, and Shedeur's only hope in Cleveland is that the owner wants some kind of publicity.
It's like refusing a fresh steak because you want to finish the leftovers first. Madness. Now here's the twist. This meltdown might actually save them because now there's no hiding from it. The chants are deafening, the media is circling like sharks, and the owner himself, he's practically waving a neon sign that screams, play the kid! The pressure's boiling over, the fans are demanding blood, and the only move left is the one Cleveland's been too scared to make all season. Unleash Shedeur Sanders. Because at this point, doing anything else would be insanity, and Cleveland has already cornered the market on that. The Browns have officially trapped themselves in their own circus. No escape hatch, no backup plan, no excuses left. If they keep Shedeur Sanders on the bench, the revolt from fans will explode into chaos. But if they finally start him, the city's gonna crown him as the Messiah before he even throws his first touchdown. Either way, the spotlight's his now. And Cleveland, oh Cleveland, this is your do or die moment. If there was ever a chance to shatter that cursed quarterback cycle once and for all, this is it. You've already buried enough talent to fill a graveyard of what could have been. You've recycled more broken dreams than a motivational poster factory. But this time, the answer isn't some mystery prospect. He's right there, 6'2", rocking number 3, and waiting for that whistle to blow. Yet somehow, you can almost feel the Browns hesitating, like they're addicted to pain. Are they really about to write another chapter in the same tragic comedy they've been starring in for decades? Because in Cleveland, the drama doesn't end. It just reboots.
Coach, I'm a Kevin Stefanski truther, which means I'm a hater because he's so bad. And he's so arrogant and uppity about it. Like, he doesn't belong in Cleveland. I've never really been to Cleveland. I've been to other parts of Ohio, probably some of the worst parts in Ohio, played baseball in some of the worst parts of Ohio. Nothing about that state gives me ivory tower. There's plenty of smart people in Ohio, but they're like kind of rugged, intuitive, intelligent. They're not snobby.
New quarterback, new coach, new heartbreak, same punchline. At this point, the Browns aren't even a football team. They're a full-blown reality show. The prize isn't a Lombardi trophy anymore, it's just surviving another season without a total mental breakdown. And now, the latest episode, Kevin Stefanski getting shoved out the door because he wouldn't follow Jimmy Haslam's simplest order. Play the shiny new quarterback the fans actually love. Think about how wild that is. You've got Shedeur Sanders, a quarterback with stats so gorgeous they could hang in the Louvre, and instead of letting him shine, you turned it into a power struggle. Cleveland didn't just fumble the ball, they fumbled the future. Instead of doing the obvious and playing Shedeur Sanders, Kevin Stefanski doubled down. Like a man betting on a losing hand with quarterback fossils from the ancient archives. It's honestly poetic how this franchise keeps finding new ways to shoot itself in the foot, then reload, and do it again with a smile, like it's some twisted carnival game. And when the Lions blew them out, oh, that wasn't just a scoreboard disaster. It was a full-blown public relations apocalypse. The cameras made sure no one missed the shot, zooming right in on Shedeur's face sitting on the sidelines, helmet off, expression blank, but screaming louder than words ever could. That wasn't a rookie's innocent stare. That was a living meme in the making, a screenshot destined to flood every timeline online. Cleveland fans didn't need commentary. They knew exactly what that look meant. Y'all really doing this again?
Him to redeem himself in that situation, to go out as a winner. And again, it's not just we all see it, players on the team sees it, players on the opposing teams see it. They know what's going on, they know what's going down, but it's all about Kevin Stefanski's ego. We saw this with Baker Mayfield. Oh, it doesn't fit my system. Well, your system has to be about the players that are in it. And we've seen him do this because the offense was completely different when Dylan Gabriel was out there. It was a lot of, short, quick passes to get the ball out of his hands, spread the formation, which is great.
These fans aren't patient anymore. They've lived through heartbreak like it's an annual tradition. Too many broken promises. Too many, this time it'll be different speeches. By the third quarter, they'd made their decision. It didn't matter who was calling plays or who was holding the clipboard. The crowd had flipped the script, and trust me, when Browns fans unite behind something, you either ride the wave or drown in it. Stefanski clearly didn't get that memo. And then came the cherry on top. Jimmy Haslam up in the press box, fuming like a volcano ready to blow. Reporters said his face was so red, people were describing it like a weather alert. The man was storming, pacing like an action movie villain about to deliver his "you're fired" speech. By the fourth quarter, he was gone, probably already rehearsing it word for word. And honestly, can you blame him? This wasn't some emotional meltdown. This was years of bottled up frustration finally hitting the ceiling. Haslam's been throwing money at this team like it's a luxury hobby, and what's he gotten for it? Embarrassment on repeat. That's not just bad coaching, that's career suicide. And Stefanski walked right into it wearing a blindfold. Now here's where the irony gets delicious, because the same chaos that just ended a coach's career might finally light the spark Cleveland's been praying for. Cleveland's been searching for their franchise quarterback since dial-up internet was making that awful connection noise. Every year it's the same sad story, new name, new hope, same heartbreak. They've gone through more quarterbacks than a telemarketer's call list. Draft one, he's a bust. Sign one, he's a disaster. Trade for one, career-ending injury, or a scandal waiting to explode. It's like this franchise is cursed by the football gods themselves. And yet, sitting right there in their own locker room is Shedeur Sanders. Real talent, real hype, the real deal. A kid who could actually flip the script and change the whole story of Cleveland football forever. But what do? They stash him on the bench like a rare Pokemon card they're too afraid to use in battle. You couldn't write comedy this good if you tried. And here's the kicker.
A lot of outlets are saying that Dillon Gabriel is going to start this weekend for the Browns. So where does that leave our man Shedeur? Is Flacco going to be QB2? Is Shedeur going to be QB2? A lot of talk that Flacco will be QB2. So Skip, what do you think this means for Shedeur?
It means that glory be Shedeur Sanders is actually going to get his shot this year in Cleveland.
Woo!
That's what just happened.
Agreed.
I was pleasantly shocked by this, and I don't believe that Kevin Stefanski had anything to do with this decision.
The national media won't even let Cleveland hide this mess anymore. The second Deion Sanders opened his mouth, the whole country tuned in. Suddenly, the Browns weren't just another sad Midwest storyline. They were headline news coast to coast. Every talking head on TV jumped in, roasting the franchise like it's open season. And honestly, they're not wrong. One analyst calls it fear, another calls it pure incompetence, and somehow both are right. Now everyone's watching to see what happens next. Because if Shedeur steps onto that field and shines, he's not just a player, he's an instant legend. The kind of overnight sensation that makes fans forget decades of pain. But if he struggles, it's back to the graveyard, the one Cleveland keeps filling with what could have been quarterbacks, population, everyone who's ever touched a football in that city. That's the curse of Cleveland. They don't just play football, they write tragedies. Every quarterback turns into a Shakespearean character with a broken dream and a highlight reel full of what-ifs. And now it's Shedeur's turn under the lights. He's either about to be the savior who finally breaks the curse, or the next name added to that long, sad Wikipedia list of Browns quarterbacks gone wrong. So where do the Browns go from here? It's simple. They have to unleash Shedeur Sanders, because honestly, what other option is even left? The fan base is done watching washed-up veterans stumble through another season like it's deja vu on repeat. Jimmy Haslam's already shown he'll fire anyone who gets in his way, and this locker room desperately needs a spark before the whole season collapses into another Cleveland disaster. If this were a movie about saving a sinking ship, the only logical move would be to throw the rookie in and pray he can swim. But here's the twist. For the first time in forever, there's actual hope. Shedeur represents everything Cleveland's been chasing for decades: youth, skill, swagger, and the possibility of something real. Something they can finally build on instead of constantly tearing down. But whether this franchise can handle that without destroying it, well, that's the million-dollar question. Because let's be real, this chaos, this uproar, this entire storm around his benching, it's forced the Browns to face the truth they've been running from for decades. The old ways don't work. The excuses are worn out. The fans aren't patient anymore. They're angry. And when your team gets humiliated on national TV, your owner storming out like a soap opera villain, and your rookie QB becomes a martyr without even taking a snap, there's nowhere left to hide. The only path forward is clear. Play Shedeur Sanders. He's not just the next man up. He's the only hope left to rewrite Cleveland's tragic script. Maybe, just maybe, this is the moment the curse finally breaks. But hey, it's Cleveland, so don't hold your breath. And if you made it this far, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share, because this saga isn't over yet, and trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next.